So today the weather has been a bit cloudy mostly. I decided to record anyway. So my aim with this video was to give you a tour of my gardens. I have 4 gardens. Together they equal to about 3 acres. So basically my plan is to expand. This particular year I wanted to achieve at least 7 acres because I'm growing for what? Financial purposes, not for home consumption. So this garden, I acquired it at the beginning of last year. Wait, what? No, at the beginning of this year. This particular garden, we'll call it Garden 1. When we acquired it, it was more like a forest. So we slashed down everything. Oh my goodness, this cloudy day is not going to give me peace. So when we slashed it down, we planted cassava. Now cassava has a gestation period of about 1 year. There is 2 types. There is one for 6 months and then there is one for 2 years. So once you plant cassava, you have to distance it like that. We did at least, for some we did at least 2 feet apart from each other. So 2.5, some 3. Depending on what was in between. Now, once you have land and you have cassava on it, so basically for those that don't know, when you have cassava, this is what you plant, the stem, but you look for something that has buds that's coming out. I mean, possible buds that's still alive that can come out. You plant one, you break them down into pieces of at least, let's say, 1 foot, and when you plant it coming outwards like that. So see, this is growing. This is a new one. We planted it after the what? We put them in the ground after the beans. So we cropped these cassavas with beans, right? So mixed cropping is basically growing 2 different or even more than 2 different types of crops together, you know. Now I showed you the beans, so we proceeded to what? To groundnuts. I figured because beans have an element that can fix the ground, you know, and balance its pH levels and everything like that. So I figured I could put groundnuts. Groundnuts are more tolerant because at the time when I planted them, remember the gestation period for groundnuts is basically 3 months, 3 to 4 months at most. You know, 120 days to 150 days. So at the time, during the bean stage, these were little. Something is stealing my groundnuts. See that? Someone is digging them out of the ground. I think the squirrels have begun. This particular garden is prone to these. My goodness, they've started digging them out. And if they're coming this far, I wonder what's on the other side. So being a cloudy day, I really hope this footage makes a lot of sense. And it's clear enough. And I'm moving too. So I'm giving you a tour of the garden now. The groundnuts, the cassava itself is seated on 1 acre. All together, you know, from Garden 1 and Garden 2. It's seated on 1 acre. Damn. My goodness. My groundnuts are getting dug up. What the hell? This is crazy. And you know, this is their final month because they're nearly ready. You know? If you can see. And these are the good ones because they have 3 pods in them. But oh my goodness, this is gonna be a bummer. This garden, this is crazy. Each of them has something that's digging them up. I need to get a day and come back and cover these up. When they're exposed, this is destruction. You know, these squirrels, when they attack groundnuts, they actually dig them up to destroy them. They're not digging them up to eat them, because when they dig them up, they realize they can't eat them, so they just keep digging. I guess they found a grown one. Damn, this is crazy. Oh my goodness, what's going on? Ooh, everything is dug up from this side. This is not good. This is not good. I don't know how this month is going to end, but it has to end with my groundnuts in the ground. The only other advantage to this land, I think why it's not too affected as gravely as I thought, because the soil here, there was a brick site here. So it's hard. It's very hard to even dig through with your paws. And I believe no matter how good diggers they are, look at areas like this, they're untouched. So they try dig up, but they hit bricks and they probably get injured in the process, so they stop. So garden 1 comes from this side all the way, from there all the way up to the other side. So it's probably, let me see, when we measured it at first, it was about 100 by what? It was bigger than 100. It was less by 30 to be an acre. Less. Now, this was a previous brick site. The guys are still making bricks in some parts of their land, and they didn't want to rent it out to me. So yeah, this land, I don't own it. I lease it. They lease it to me for 2 years. Every 2 years I renew my contract. Some pieces of land I renew every year. So, and this is what you would call garden 2. Garden 2 is basically 100 by 100, but they cut some of it off while making their bricks. Garden 2 has groundnuts too and some cassava. Now, you will notice that the cassava on garden 2 is not as healthy and big as the cassava on garden 1, but surprisingly, they've all put on cassava. Big ones too. I'll be showing you the harvest video for that. So, groundnuts are basically legends. Now, when you dig a hole for groundnuts, make sure it's at least 6 centimeters deep, especially if you're living in an area like this where you have pests that can come and affect it. 6 centimeters is good. Now look at this. These holes were a little bit deeper. That's why they've not been affected too much. So when they dig and dig, they're not digging too deep. They're not that strong to go too deep. They're not natural excavators, so they stop at some point. And yeah, there are 2 graves here for kids. 2 kids. Initially, when we got the land, this place was all covered up. We barely knew there were graves. So, out of respect, I ended up fixing it because I felt bad, you know, abandoned kids in a fucking forest. It was a sad one. We nearly planted cassava on them. We actually did plant cassava on them, and then one of the owners of the land later came and said, oh, it was 2 kids were buried there. They were separated from the grave, the family graveyard. I don't know why. It was none of my business. I didn't ask. But they were separated. So we removed the cassava from them. And then we ended up what? You know, creating a tombstone, you know, with soil on them. This is not my family. I couldn't go the extra mile of financing a concrete one. But at least now you can identify that there are 2 kids buried there. So this and the lower, the entire place that I rented is about 2 acres. The entire place, even this whole side where they're making bricks is mine. But I'm still trying to figure out how to rejuvenate the land in between. You know, when I was negotiating the price was reduced a little bit because of the middle ground. But altogether, it's about 2 acres, you know. But because I'm not growing on a huge part of it, so I basically look at it as about 1 acre, 1.5, around something like that. So I look at it like that, 1.5. you know. Yeah, 200 by 200 plus maybe 30 by what? By 50, something like that. I don't know, maybe 30 decimals or maybe 20 decimals, 25 decimals, around there. So I look at it at 1.5. I know a half is like what, 100 by 100. It's possible, yeah. I can still grow down here too, but I need to rejuvenate the soil. Now, soil bricks are actually the thing that destroys the soil, because the soil is perfectly healthy. For you to make bricks on it, you're actually destroying it, especially if you intend to do agriculture on the soil, you know. So I was still telling you a little bit about the groundnuts. You grow them, they grow for about 3 months. This month I should be harvesting at the end of it, latest early next month. And then when you dig your holes, they should be at least 5 centimeters to 6 centimeters. When you plant, you have to plant when it's raining, because you give them a chance to come out fast. And then for me, what I did, because I knew the sun was coming ahead, as soon as they came out, the buds came out, I waited for 4 leaves, and then I sprayed for fertilizers. Why? Because it gave them a chance to grow faster, you know, and then be able to be resistant to the sun that was coming ahead. So later on, after 2 weeks, because the rain was too much, the weeds came fast. We started weeding, yeah. The first weeding is done by hands. Hoes are because the buds are still on the ground, the hoes can destroy, you can easily cut the plants when you're weeding. So you have to wait for them to be at this stage to use a hoe. So 2 to 3 weeks into the whole process, you weed by hands. They just pluck the grass out practically, because groundnuts cannot compete. And I repeat this, they cannot compete with weeds. Forget other things they can handle, but groundnuts cannot. So you end up losing them in great numbers. And you weed twice, because you weed after 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and then after another 2 weeks or 3 weeks you weed again if it's been raining heavy, because the weeds will come back fast. And then you wait after at least 2 months, and then you wait for another rain, and then you weed by hoe. I'll show you that. I have footage on that. And then for the cassava is fine. The moment it comes out, all you have to plant is 1 stick or 2 sticks, you know. If the buds are good on the stick, on the stem of a stick, you plant 1 stick. If you're not sure, plant 2 sticks, 2 stem cuts, 2. Yeah, let's go to garden 3, then garden 4, and then I show you my expansion plan, because I'm trying to acquire an acre right now, and we'll talk about that in the next clip. Muwogo mulowooza abuzaayo bbanga kitumugye mu ttaka. Akyali naye mumanye ebbanga muwogo lyamazeemu li. Omukebeddeko nga muto naye atandise okussaako. Kwali wansi munene. So this is garden 3. Now this is a huge one. This is 1 acre, you know, the whole stretch is 1 acre, and it's not 1.5, it's about maybe 15 decimals. Yeah, I think it's 15 decimals, because at the time when we measured, but it's 1 acre all the way here, because it stretches from all the way there, from that bush there, and it stretches all the way to the other corner, and then it goes all the way down to the other corner, and then comes all the way down to this corner. So it's actually, yeah, it's 1 acre. It's an acre and 15 decimals, this whole one. This is garden 3. Garden 3 has groundnuts too. Now, what you have to understand about garden 3, I tested the groundnuts process here before and it came out perfectly fine. You see how the groundnuts look now? They're approaching harvestation. How do you know when to harvest? Let me use this one. Do you see how it looks? It's starting to yellow. So you wait for the leaves to completely yellow or even dry, but most of them should yellow out. You know, when they fully yellow, it means when they turn yellow or a little bit dryish like this, dryish yellow, brownish or something like that. All of them, even not all of them, but you know, they get close to that. That's how you know, that they're ready to harvest. If you didn't count your months or something, because there are some people who plant and they don't count the months. You look at the plant and you can easily identify that the plant is ready to harvest. Yes, groundnuts flower too. They have flowers. And you see the difference between the groundnuts flower. It's quite small, but their flower stays for a long time until the buds in the ground have completely formed groundnuts. It's crazy, but they last a long time. Yeah, so this is garden 3. My passion for agriculture keeps growing by the day, and I hope to do nothing but the best with agriculture. I want to take it to the next level, machine wise and everything. All these things require money, but I'll get there. I'll definitely get there. This place has not been affected by squirrels as much as I actually thought. I think because the neighbors slashed out the bush that could have affected the what? That could have affected where they could be hiding for easy access. When you take out the bushes, they have nowhere to hide. They don't like being in open spaces. What's that? Oh, a squirrel. Oh my God, it's in there. It's in here. Ah, I have a bush in my own garden. So someone is taking advantage of that. What the hell? I wish he could come out. Yeah. So yeah, they're probably hiding in there. Or maybe they're not. I don't know, because it's exposed. If they were, this entire place would be somehow affected. So I'm going to pluck one groundnut to show you the groundnuts that's on it. Oh, yeah, this one was eaten by squirrels. Let's try and pluck something that I won't miss. That I won't gravely miss. And another thing about harvesting, yeah? If the ground is hard like this, because this is hard, you try to wait for a little bit of rain to fall so that the ground becomes a bit soft, and then you harvest. You know? Because when you try, because this is how they harvest them, you simply pluck the plant out. See? It has groundnuts on it. I'm going to try and open one so you can see how they actually look. Inside when they are ready. Yeah, this is hard. Ah! See? This one has 3 in it. And this is the dream. So make sure when you're buying seeds, you buy healthy seeds. And in every hole, you plant 2 seeds. This time I behaved. I didn't plant excess seeds in there. I didn't plant nothing excess. I planted 2 seeds in every hole because groundnuts are very expensive when you're buying seeds, you know. So I planted 2 and geez, they all came out. I didn't have a hole that didn't sprout. I was so lucky. I was happy, you know. And I looked for healthy seeds. Make sure you look for healthy seeds to plant. Let me eat this. I'm taking this with me. So these ones, they need a little bit more time. They have to turn red. You know, when you open one of these, inside, they have to be red. That's how you know that they are ready. When they're still pink like that inside, pink or white, they're still very young. So you wait. But these are closed. You know, these are very close. So we're moving to garden 4. I hope you can spot the differences. Garden 4. Now, what else haven't I talked about? When to plant. I've told you when to plant. I've told you about the financial costs of planting this. I'll tell you in the harvesting video. I'll break it down for you. You know, post-harvest handling, everything. Because there is a lot of work to groundnuts, by the way. That's why they're delicate and they're expensive. Maybe that's why people don't like growing them in plenty. You know, and they're expensive. A kilogram is now going to 7,000. So, trust me, that's a lot of money. You know, 7,000 shillings. That's like what? Almost $2. Right here on the local market. Almost, not really. Ni dola eri kusatu lwenda. Lwenda, kusatu lukaga yavaayo dda. Ozingezeemu nekka. Erinnya. Ale pound yeyongera kugwa. So yeah. Let's go to garden 4. The weather is not good, but I hope you really can see something out of this. So garden 5 is 30 decimals. It's my smallest. I acquired this at the last moment here. The groundnuts in here are close to harvesting. Yes, very close. We threw in some cassavas after planting the beans to keep the groundnuts busy. We were quite successful. Quite successful, no. So the lady, she's gonna give me more land, 60 by 100 to add to this. She has huge land here, you know, very big land. So she basically leases, she doesn't sell, she leases it out. So she leases to me, and she's quite nice to me. Damn. They're stuck in the damn ground. They tore off. This is exactly why you don't plant with, you don't harvest with what? You don't harvest with, damn it. You need a hole for these things, especially if you're harvesting these. You see, and these are going to be ready. They're going to be the most recent ones to get ready. You see, they're moving away from the pink and they're becoming red, which gives me an advantage. You know, it means when they completely turn red, they're ready. So these are going to be ready faster. So this is the extension she's giving me, where you see the dried cassava. It is 60 by 100. It goes all the way down. Nkoma okumuti. Ngawe twali tuteseza luli. Nga luli. Kanzikirire. So all the way down, it is 60 by 100. So when you add the 60 by 100 to the 30 decimals, it becomes an acre. So I'll be moving on to 3.5 acres within a month. So this one here, I'm going to have the boys work on it, and we're going to plant cabbages on it. The previous nursery bed I made for cabbages, it got destroyed and I gave out some of them. So I have to make a new nursery bed for the what? For the cabbages, yeah? For the next cabbages. And I'm going to work on that before this month elapses, because next month has heavy rain. And as soon as the rain falls, I plant. Yeah, that's my plan. Now, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. That was me at DOREEN'S African Experiences. I hope you've had, at least now you understand what kind of farming I'm doing. You understand my aim for farming. You know, by the end of this year, I want to try. You know, I have money going out of me to different projects. But I'm going to try, because it's a bit tough, because I've had to make so many moves. I need to slow down and pace myself and focus on specific agendas now, and try to take 2 routes for now. and I'm going to put the rest on hold. Yeah, we're trying to grow. The dream is to be a heavy farmer, because I know there is money. If you want to make money in agriculture, you have to do it on a large scale. So the bigger you go, you know, the more the expense, but the heavier the rewards. That's the plan, that's the dream. I hope by the end of the year I have at least 5 acres. I wanted 7, but financially I don't know if I'll pull it off. So I'm thinking 5 acres by the end of this year. Yeah, let's see what happens. Let's keep growing, step by step, baby steps. Okay, let me go check out how far she wants to give me.